How's my hair? Makeup! Hey guys, Cody with Organic Woodwork here, and today I have my good friend Wade Mclean who builds stuff in your garage.
I do.
He's never used a CNC machine, and so I invited him over to work on a project that he was doing to use the Onefinity, and we're gonna go from start, create, design to finish and show you just how easy it is for someone to use who has never had the opportunity to use a CNC machine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into Carbide Create to make the file that you had showed me that you wanted engraved. So it's a free software. It's the one that I started using, and it works. We can take this Gcode and put it on the Onefinity. Okay. All right, so now that we have our Gcode, we are going to take thumb drive, and we're going to remove this. And we're going to take it up over to the Onefinity. Okay, so now that we've created the file on Carbide Create and we've put it, the G-code is actually on this thumb drive. We're going to connect this thumb drive into the Onefinity CNC controller. And then we're going to carve your material. But before that, we have to put in our bit that we're going to use and secure your workpiece to this work table. And how we're going to do that is I've cut up some pieces of MDF that we're actually going to use to just brad nail into this, framing it in and keeping it straight on the work table. So we're done with it. So it doesn't move. Exactly. All right, so let's do it. Okay, so now that you have the brad nail gun and we've used a carpenter square along the foot of the rail, the Y rail axis here. And that gives us, lets us know that the cutting toolpath straight is right here. So you're going to frame in your workpiece using these pieces of MDF for the sides and the top, and the last one we'll do is the bottom.
Just one on each side?
Yep. Okay, so you can see the USB ports are on the back of the CNC controller. You're just going to take this thumb drive and you're going to put it in the USB controller.
Doesn't matter which one.
Doesn't matter which one. All right, now let's pull it up on our screen. You're going to go to Auto. Go to Auto. There's this little folder here. I'm going to click on that folder. And that is what the files that are on our USB thumb drive. We're going to click on the Connell and you're going to hit open down here. There we go. And that is the G-code that it's going to run. Before we do that and hit play, we need to put in our bit and zero our machine. Okay, so this is what toggles the spindle around. Now, something to note, so Z is up and down. Y is forward and back, and X is left and right. Okay? So, right now we need to move the Z axis up because we have to put a bit in, so we need room for that. Also, when we move it forward to put the bit in, your workspace is actually in front of your spindle. So we got to make sure we clear that. So we just move the X or the Z axis up.
And I'm assuming that you can do it however.
Yes, you can use the screen, or you can use this joystick, which is actually a USB, and it's plugged into the back of the controller as well. And this toggle goes up and down.
Oh, perfect.
And this toggle goes forward or sideways. It's a little faster.
Okay, got it, yeah.
So, you want to play with that?
Sure. Up or down, wherever you want to put it.
Wherever you want to put it.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're going to actually move the spindle to about right here and high enough from the Z so we can put the bit in. And the reason I'm going in this space is because then once we get the bit in, we're actually going to zero our X, Y, and Z to this bottom left corner.
Okay.
Because that is where we put the starting point on our Gcode.
So where you want to come right about in here?
Right about there. Okay, so now that you've hand tightened the bit into the collet here, you're going to press down this button and rotate it until it catches.
Till catch.
And then you're going to tighten that up with this crescent wrench.
Okay. So here, rotate it till it stops, right about there.
Okay, so now we're going to move our bit to the bottom left corner of this workpiece. And the reason we're doing that is we're calling that our 0. That's letting the machine know where our starting point is in the G-code to then carve out.
Okay.
So that when we hit play, it doesn't just start anywhere, start trying to carve over here.
Randomly.
It knows exact, because that's why we created this G-code with this particular size.
Okay.
So it knows that this is the cutting surface and it knows where to start from.
Right.
Now, you can go over here to your screen. You can see here your X, Y, and Z axis. So we need to get it, our starting point for each of those. Now you can come and you can, you can manually do and then 0 each one. Or what I like to do is get the X and Y where I need it, 0 those two.
Okay.
Then take the Z and I'll come somewhere over here, drop it down,
Right.
and do the paper method where you get it to touch the paper, you pull up 1 millimeter or 0.01 millimeter, pull the paper out, go back down to where you were, and then 0 your Z there.
Okay.
Because you can 0 X and Y here, but you can 0 Z anywhere on the top of the workpiece. Okay, so now we're going to turn the spindle, the router on. Okay. So just hit power. Now we made sure that it wasn't touching our workpiece when we did that, right? Yep. Now you're going to come over here and you're just going to hit play. Okay. All right, so that was it. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna just jog this back, get it away from our workpiece, pull the workpiece up, and then just hit it with a really light sand to 320 grit and get ready for oil.
Party.
Okay, so coming from, you've never used a CNC machine before. Right. What are some things that you really liked about this and then what's some things that you didn't like?
The things I liked the flexibility and the portability not only of the machine, but also the way that I can connect a web camera to it. I can connect it to my network at the house. I can send files back and forth that way, which will allow me to take care of my other job at the house that I have, as well as being able to watch my product that may be going on at the bench.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about that, because what is it that you have going on at the house? You have...
I am a primary caregiver for my son, who is paralyzed from chest down. Trampoline accident a few years ago, so I am the primary caregiver for him. So he has, it's actually going to be a way that I can see him having the ability to do some things outside of what he does now, which is he doesn't do, I don't mean that in a terrible way, he just doesn't do a lot right now. This will give him a way to be, he and I can connect a little bit more. Like the video game controller, you know, right now he plays video games all the time. Even though he doesn't have use of his fingers, he'll still be able to do things via the USB controller. Because you can jog it, you can put it where you want to go, and even though his hands are like this, he'll be able to do that. He'll be able to create the files like we talked about before. He has a stylus, works on his keyboard, he can work through the software system. He can do everything with the exception of putting the board on the work surface and tacking it down. He can do, and zeroing the machine. That's just kind of from what I've seen from this one will allow me to do that. Why do I say that? I can see from a web camera. We can send files to and from the controller. I think that's going to open up a lot of doors for he and I.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to go to your garage where sawdust is flying.
That's right.
And disrupt his already weakened respiratory system.
That's right.
He can do and send those files to you.
Absolutely.
To the machine.
That's right.
Via your network at home.
That's right. Absolutely. Send me a text. Say, hey, we're ready to go. Turn on the router.
Right. So there's definitely some positive capabilities there.
Absolutely. And that's and again, having researched a couple others, I don't see that in others.
Yeah. Okay. So anything that you notice that could definitely use some improvement, or you think your thoughts that from not using one, what would be something you would change in order to make it easier? Or
I think one of the things that I just observing it go back and forth and work today is the cord. Just like a while ago when it was moving back, I seen you don't have a lot of options to put this cord out of the way. Something simple, maybe not simple to fix, but I can see this getting hung up in other places. One thing I really think can be take advantage of is the space. So we don't have to have it horizontally. Maybe we can put it vertically. I can get it up and out of a garage. That just, this is a 4x4, let's just say a 4x4 space. I can take that up out, put it down when I need it, put it away whenever I don't need it. Makes the wife happy, makes me happy. So I think the cord probably needs something. I think the other thing that, as an older guy, the controller, the fonts were kind of really small fonts.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm sure, again, this is a beta version, correct? So maybe there's an opportunity that you can have where you can actually select a different font size. Otherwise,
or blow the screen up. Right?
That's right,
you
absolutely.
Can't do that yet.
Right, yeah.
So that's definitely something too.
So I think that's good. Again, I know that everything else is in beta, so just kind of looked at that way. I know the machine part is probably not, but the controller and the stuff like that is in beta.
Well, awesome. Well, Wade, I really appreciate you taking your time today to come and try this out and just see what you can think, because I really wanted to get eyes from someone who's never used a CNC machine. Well guys, that concludes our video. I hope you enjoyed it and that it was informative. If you have any more questions about the Onefinity CNC machine, go to onefinitycnc.com, or you can visit Organic Woodwork on our Instagram page, send us a message, and we'll be happy to help. And as always, God bless, guys.